Hello, everybody. This is Swati recording from New Delhi. By the time you listen to this particular session, I'm going to be on the plane going from New Delhi to Los Angeles. Once I reach there, I will come back live. By the time I come back live again, it's going to be Wednesday evening, Los Angeles, which means that it'll be Thursday morning in India. And the other people from all over the world, you can calculate what time it is going to be for you. But in spite of doing this session, not really live, recorded like this, we are going to do beautiful breath awareness meditation, and we will be deriving just as much meaning from it. I have already taught you 3 different ways to pay attention to your breath. The first one was count. Take in the breath, count 1. Let go of the breath, count 2. Breathe in, count 1. Breathe out, count 2. And you can go on like that. The second way to pay attention to the breath was to pay attention to the nostrils, how the nostrils are receiving the breath. And the third way to pay attention to the breath that I taught you was to pay attention to the movement of the breath, starting with the nostrils, how you feel the breath going in all the way to the lungs. So you move your attention a little bit in a line, and you pay attention to how your lungs are receiving the breath, the energy, the life source. I'm going to tell you my preferred, or rather default, way to meditate with my breath. And in that process, I'm also going to follow the tradition of our sessions, which is I'll be telling you some story or something about a seminal figure in this area or a research study. Today, I'm going to choose a seminal figure in mindfulness meditations, Mr. Goenka. Mr. Goenka lived in Myanmar, Burma, and he had the good fortune to study under a very well-known teacher, and he learned Vipassana. Vipassana was originated in India 2,500 years ago, and after flourishing here in India for almost 1,200 years, it left India. But it still went all over South Asia, all over Southeast Asia, including Myanmar, where it was still alive in a very traditional, very rigorous, austere way. Mr. Goenka came back to India in the 70s, and he started Vipassana retreats all over India, one at a time. And then eventually he also started his Vipassana retreats in other parts of the world. These retreats were free, 10-day long, silent, rigorous, traditional way to learn Vipassana. Now, why am I talking about Vipassana when I'm really telling you how I become, what's my default way to pay attention to the breath? It's because Vipassana can be translated as mindfulness meditations. Mindfulness meditations are really Vipassana style of meditation, but modified to suit our modern lives. And most importantly, heavily scientifically researched. What do I mean by modified to suit our modern lives? First of all, research studies have established in order to get the benefits such as stress reduction and other things like better memory, better cognition, better concentration, and most importantly, sense of well-being. For those reasons, we don't need to go through the 10-day long Vipassana retreat. We can do, as I suggested, 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and we can still change our relationship with the things I talked about. In that sense, it's a little modification. So mindfulness meditations, because it's the same thing as Vipassana in some sense, I'm talking about Vipassana. That's where I first learned my mindfulness meditations. For the first 3 or 4 days in Mr. Goenka's retreat, all we did was we sat silently, didn't even look at each other, and all we did was to pay attention to our breath, concentrate on the breath. And guess what he had as his preferred way to meditate with the breath? Nostrils. Pay attention to the nostrils. So for 4 days, I was just simply paying attention to my nostrils. As a result, even after the retreat, whenever I started paying attention to my breath, my first instinct was to focus on the nostrils. And that has become my preferred or my way to meditate with my breath. On the other hand, I've also learned whenever I taught these meditations to other people, people have different ways. Some people, a fourth way, which some of you may want to try, they have an image of the breath going in. Some person said that they treat the breath like it's zigzag like this and it's going inside. That helps them to focus better. So choose your own way out of the three I've taught you and meditate with me in that way. Today, all I'm going to say is bring your attention back to the breath when we do our meditations. Before we actually begin, I just want to tell you what I have shown you 20 minutes with To Meditate. What that means is my app To Meditate, those of you who have already downloaded it, the free app, there is a 20-minute option. There is actually a list of meditations. And in the list of meditation, you will find a breath awareness meditation in my guided voice. So if you prefer doing it on your own when you're somewhere else, you can use the app and do the breath awareness meditation there. I would also like to show you, I would like to do a little bit of a screen share with you guys about Mr. Goenkaji. Before that, I think I should get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the bottom. That way we'll have more of the screen, and then I would like to show you Mr. Goenka's website. Okay, I believe you all can see it. Vipassana meditation. It's also called Vipassana in Sanskrit. Vipassana is the Pali word. And Mr. S.N. Goenka, and you see his picture here. He is the one whose story I told you about. Mr. Goenka ji has passed away, but all his retreats are very much alive. And eventually, if you become ready to go through a rigorous, austere 10-day silent retreat where you do nothing but meditate, you may choose to do this. And it will again be a life-changing experience for you, I hope. So I'm going to turn this off now. And let's start doing a breath awareness meditation. If you have any questions or any comments, or if you experience anything, please email me to meditatetogether@gmail.com. I have been really liking interacting with you because that's the way I learn what you're doing and how you are experiencing this particular camp. So let's go with our breath now. Close your eyes and relax your shoulders. Have your spinal cord straight. And breath in and breath out. Take a few deep breaths at first. And now everything else is outside this door. It's just you, your breath, and your body sitting here and paying attention to the breath. Breath, the source of life. Breath is our anchor. Breath is our center. Breath is our refuge. And we are learning to pay attention to it. Anytime you want, you can come back to this refuge. It's the most important thing. This is where it begins and this is where it ends. Every moment, a new moment. Pay attention to the breath. Use your preferred method. Breathe in, I pay attention. Breathe out, I pay attention. If your mind is wandering around, that's okay. Aha, this is my mindful moment. I bring my attention back to my breath and pay attention to the way either your nostrils or your lungs are receiving the breath, or if you're counting, just pay attention to the breath with your count. The life source, the center, the anchor, we are coming back to it, watching my breath, new moment, new breath. If you notice any itching or twitching or any aches or pains anywhere, you don't need to do anything. Try not to react by taking any action. Just simply watch it and then come back to your breath. And I promise if it is itching or twitching, it will go away after some time on its own. If it's aches or pains, and if you need to move your body a little bit and adjust, that's okay, but you don't need to get up or you don't need to do anything about it. Simply pay attention to your breath. If your attention is wandering around, that's okay. This is my mindful moment. I come back to my breath and start paying attention again. Some of you will feel the rejuvenation, the energy, the breath, giving the most important thing for your body, which is the oxygen, sending it to the rest of your body. Each moment, new energy, watching, observing. And some of you may not find that it's rejuvenating. You may feel restless, you may feel distracted, you may feel a little bit down, but that's okay. Just notice that's what's happening. Keep noticing. I'm distracted today. It's so hard to focus on the breath. I, in fact, feel down. Should I leave this? Should I give up this meditation? My suggestion is don't. Just watch and keep paying attention to your breath. Come back to the breath. Pay attention to the source of life. This is my mindful moment. I bring my attention back to the breath. And notice that each breath may feel a little bit different, especially when you're paying attention. It's not going to be exactly the same. The twitching, itching, or whatever else you're feeling could be a little bit different. Have child's curiosity in mind and pay attention to how it is different. Come back to the breath in case your mind is wandering around. Aha, this is my mindful moment. I come back to my breath. Pay attention to how each breath is different. The difference may be very subtle, very minute, but become curious and pay attention. If your attention goes to some other part of your body because of anything like aches, pains, or comfort, just notice it for a few seconds and bring it back to the breath. Your intention is to become aware of the breath today. My experience with my breath. My breath, my refuge, my source of life, my anchor, my center. I bring my attention back to the breath and watch it clearly and understand it exactly the way it is. I'm not making it either deep or shallow with any purpose. I'm not making it long or short with any purpose. All I'm doing is I'm paying attention to the way it is here and now at this moment, how my body is experiencing the breath. And each moment is a little bit different. Everything changes, law of impermanence. This beautiful breath, this is life. I'm paying attention to something very basic to our lives. And this is opening up the wonderful world of mindfulness to me. If your mind is wandering around, bring it back to the breath. Aha, this is my mindful moment. Now I know that I wasn't paying attention to my breath. My intention was to pay attention to this very basic, very vital part of my life, which is my own breath, and how my body is reacting to this breath, this experience. Amazing, rejuvenating experience of the breath. And now we have already meditated for a little over 15 minutes, and it's time for us to wind down our meditation. But before we do that, as usual, we are going to say this one line 3 times in our own mind. Each time, please pay attention to what you're saying. You're basically making you realize that this moment I'm okay, everything is okay with me, sitting here meditating. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. Breathe in, I smile. Breathe out, I'm okay. And with this, open your eyes slightly at first and then all the way. So, what we just did is the most basic mindfulness meditation. You are developing focus and concentration, which is the first step of developing true level of mindfulness to all our different experiences. We need to first know how to focus and concentrate, not just on anything, but on the right things. This is going to help you in other parts of your life where you do need focus and concentration, where you do need to avoid temptations to get distracted and come back to whatever you have intended to do. Not only that, but in this particular case, you're also becoming acutely aware of the law of impermanence because you're paying attention to how each breath is different and how each moment is a new moment. And that is partly how you realize mindfulness and how you make use of mindfulness in your life, which is to know everything passes. This will pass too. And with that, I am going to say bye to you. I'm going to see you tomorrow, and it's going to be live. So, all the best for you to meditate on your own, even when you're not in this session, and pay attention to your breath. I have one other suggestion. Whenever you either hear some kind of a ping from your phone or something else that's like a normal set of noises in your life, it may be a siren or it may be whatever else. When that happens, pay attention to 2 breaths. Take a pause to develop mindfulness even further. And bye for now, and I'll see you all tomorrow.